Yuri Lipski was a Russian-Israeli cave diver who tragically lost his life in the Blue Hole, a deep underwater sinkhole off the coast of Dahab, Egypt, on April 28, 2000. Yuri Lipski's death became widely known due to the footage he captured on his helmet-mounted video camera during his fatal dive. The video documents his descent into the Blue Hole and his increasing distress as he encountered difficulties. Today, we're going to show you what exactly happened there and what were the causes of this tragedy and what was shown in this gruesome tape. The Blue Hole in Dahab, Egypt is a world-renowned underwater sinkhole, or cenote, situated in the Red Sea. It's famous for its breathtaking beauty and incredible depth, but it's also notorious for being one of the most dangerous dive sites in the world. The 330-foot marine sinkhole in the Red Sea has widely been claimed to be more dangerous than Mount Everest, with locals saying around 200 divers have lost their lives at Blue Hole. There are many reasons why the Blue Hole is considered so perilous. First of all, the Blue Hole is extremely deep, plunging to depths of over 100 meters or 330 feet. The depth can be enticing for experienced divers seeking to test their limits, but it also poses a significant risk due to the increased pressure and nitrogen narcosis that occur at such depths. And the most dangerous part is a place known as the Arch of the Dahab Blue Hole, located at around 56 meters or 184 feet deep. What's more, at the Blue Hole there is a lack of escape routes. Once divers descend into the Blue Hole, they enter a relatively narrow enclosed environment with limited escape routes. In case of an emergency, divers may have to ascend quickly, which can lead to decompression sickness or other life-threatening conditions. However, the biggest threat is probably nitrogen narcosis. At the depths of the Blue Hole, divers are at risk of experiencing nitrogen narcosis, also known as rapture of the deep. This condition can impair judgment and decision-making, making it even more critical for divers to stay composed and make safe choices. We'll tell you a little bit more about this phenomenon later because it's going to be critical to the whole story. Now, due to these factors, the Blue Hole has earned a reputation as a high-risk dive site. It's strongly recommended that anyone considering diving in the Blue Hole be highly experienced and well-trained in technical diving, cave diving, and managing the specific challenges presented by this location. Yuri Lipski was 22 years old at the time the tragedy occurred. Despite his young age, he was quite an experienced diver and had done some training, so he was looking for something more than just tourist diving in Egypt. We know from witness statements that the Russian came to Dahab for only 2 days, and during that time his goal was to go down to the Blue Hole. However, none of the divers on site would allow him to do so. Yuri was so desperate that he drove around the surrounding towns looking for a guide to go there with him. But everyone told him how dangerous it was and that the young man didn't have enough experience. Everyone recommended that he should have a minimum of 2 weeks of training before descending, but Yuri didn't have that much time. I saw him before he died. He was like everybody else, showing up around Dahab, and we hear it every day. I want to do the Blue Hole, regardless of experience, regardless of certifications, a local diving instructor and guide said about Yuri Lipski, indicating that he may have been reckless and prone to overestimating his diving abilities. So Yuri went down alone and never returned from there either. The next day, Yuri's father was in Dahab and begged local divers to help him recover his son's body. When Lipski was finally found, he was found together from a camera containing a record of his last moments. The video lasts 7 minutes and can be said to be a miracle because the camera should have been damaged or even completely broken, as it was found at a depth of 115 meters and is only designed to withstand 75 meters. But before we analyze this shocking video, we want to remind you to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching with us, and now back to the topic. We know that the diver went down into the water to do what's called a bounce dive. A bounce dive is a type of scuba dive where a diver descends briefly to a certain depth, usually a deep one, and then immediately ascends back to shallower waters. That's why at the beginning of the video, we see Yuri simply going down, not exploring the surroundings, but just sinking to the bottom. Nevertheless, Yuri's going down much faster than he should be doing according to protocol. As the diver descends, the water pressure increases due to the weight of the water above. This pressure change affects the body, particularly the ears, sinuses, and air spaces. To avoid diving too fast, divers use a device called a buoyancy control device, or BCD. In the footage, we can hear the diver scrambling and trying to engage the equipment, but it doesn't work, so Yuri begins to sink uncontrollably to the bottom. With every meter down, the diver begins to run out of air, and we can hear his wheezing breath on the recording, and this tells us how hard it must be for him to draw breath. Probably every inhalation hurts in his chest and bursts it from the inside. With each passing second, it becomes more evident that the diver is experiencing nitrogen narcosis. As a first symptom, he may experience a sense of euphoria, feeling overconfident, which is why they usually don't turn back to the surface until it's too late to do so. As the depth increases, divers lose orientation in the area. Coordination and motor skills may be affected. Some individuals report feeling disconnected from their surroundings or feeling like they're watching themselves from afar. With such symptoms, it's impossible to reasonably assess the situation and try to save yourself from death. In the case of Lipski, at some point the hallucination and nitrogen intoxication turned into panic when he touched the bottom. That's when he realized there was no way back. He began to struggle cluelessly in the water, raising clouds of dust. We see him even dropping parts of his equipment in a panic. And it's this panic that accompanies him until the end of the video, where his tragic death follows. Experts cite as one of the main reasons for the incident that his gas cylinder contained too little nitrogen and helium, which are supposed to prevent falling into mania and dullness at great depths. In addition to this, he failed to check that his buoyancy control device was not working, and on top of that, by the camera from which the footage came, his equipment was too heavy. Of course, if we also add to this his lack of experience, tragedy was guaranteed. The tragic story of Yuri Lipski's fatal dive into the blue hole off the coast of Dahab, Egypt, serves as a stark reminder of the inherent dangers associated with deep-sea diving, especially in such challenging environments like the blue hole. This underwater sinkhole, with its breathtaking beauty and incredible depth, has claimed the lives of many experienced divers over the years. Yuri's determination to dive the blue hole, despite warnings from experienced divers, led to his solo journey into the depths. His ill-fated descent was marred by a series of errors and equipment malfunctions that could have been avoided with more experience or with the aid of a guide. And while this incident was a tragedy, it serves as a harsh reality check to other would-be explorers of the blue hole. Preparation and teamwork is key to survival. Now, we know it's not easy to watch recordings where someone captures their own death. However, this recording in particular has remained on the internet as a lesson and a warning for others. If you want to stay up to date with our content and see other videos where we discuss famous disaster and events, click here. And, as always, thank you very much for choosing to spend your time with us today. We'll see you in our next video.